your retirement goals. 713
Got my good side?
4332. 713-862-4332. Securities offered through Securities America
Let's hope that it
Incorporated.
stays
Member
on,
FINRA,
because I don't know how
SIPC.
that works.
Advisory services offered through Securities America Advisors Incorporated, Broderick Dow PC, and Securities America, separate companies. CPA services offered through Broderick Dow PC.
The views and opinions expressed on KYND 1520 talk programs are those of the host, guest, and callers, and are not necessarily those of this station, its owners, management, other hosts, or advertisers. Show topics on this station may include conversations on any lifestyle, belief, religion, political affiliation, or other personal practices. KYND, a Synergy Broadcasting Company. KYND, Cypress, Houston, a Synergy Broadcasting Company. Your kind of talk, your kind of music, your kind of radio. The powerful 1520.
Your kind of talk and your kind of radio. KYND 1520 AM radio. My name is Laurence Rice. You're listening to the Rice Business Report. Again, the Rice Business Report, Laurence Rice and sidekick today by Mr. Broderick Butler. We've got a great show today with a lot of interesting topics. We're expecting some call-ins, and we've got a studio guest who was a little behind schedule, but that's Houston traffic for you. But it's a pleasure to be here over the airways of KYND 1520 AM radio. Mr. Broderick, how are you this afternoon?
Blessed to be here, Mr. Rice.
All right, great. We're going to talk about a number of things that may be sensitive to some people, but we like that. You know, we like to get the feedback. And speaking of feedback, our call-in number is 832-230-5592. That's 832-230-5592 for questions, calls, comments, and just kind of any kind of inquiries you may have with regards to your business and something that's been on your mind, business-related, of course, no politics. Again, Laurence Rice, the Rice Business Report, KYND 1520, and we'd like to jump right in to talk about cooperative economics. And cooperative economics is basically doing business with people who do business with you. Am I correct, Mr. Broderick?
That's my only philosophy.
There you go, right there. And cooperative economics, it motivates and it promotes consumerism within communities that, quite frankly, if you have a dollar that's circulating, dollars that are circulating in particular communities 6 or 7 times within the course of 1 week, that's a great thing, provided, of course, people are out spending. But when you have people who take dollars outside the community and spend them outside the community, and they don't really spend with businesses that are in their community, then that sort of sucks money out of the community and does not allow any kind of economic growth. Am I on course here, Mr. Broderick?
Yes, you are, because there has to be some kind of give back. In other words, you have to do something for the community, within the community, to keep the community whole. Because if the community doesn't exist, then others will come in, or individuals will take money out of the community, and eventually you basically have a Detroit situation, or you have, let's just say, where there is nothing left.
Well, that's true, and that can be a very bad economic detriment to communities that are sometimes impoverished. And what happens is that, in my estimation, and I think I've got a good finger on the pulse of what's going on, is that we go into places that, let's say we drive to a Walmart that's not in our community, we drive to a Kohl's, a Target that's not in our community. Those dollars never come back into our community. They don't come back. And sure, everybody's got to complain about the big box stores, but at the same time also, it's the local businesses, okay, not just local restaurants, not just local hardware stores, not just local clothing stores. It's the local businesses that make up that community's economic drive. And the development of economic drive and the empowerment of the economic drive is based on consumers who believe in spending with a cooperative economics in mind.
But one of the things you got to realize that if you're a business owner, whether you sell hammers, nails, or you do edge ups, one of the things that you've got to think about and realize is if you don't know your numbers, you don't know your business. So as you're sitting there talking to your neighbors, as you're sitting in the pew on Sunday, or you're actually driving and or sitting in your business and calling to get vendors and orders to come in, that you've got to understand where your business comes from. How much of it comes from the community, how much of it comes from outside the community, where you bank, where you put your dollars. Because if you build your house on a very bad foundation, what's going to happen is those doors are going to close. That might be a much needed service in the community, that then all of a sudden people do have to go outside because there's a food desert, or they do have to go outside because you don't sell enough hammers, or you don't sell the right lawn equipment that I need to actually promote my business, which is that whole concept of, and one thing I notice when people really get excited when we talk about business to business model, we've got to encourage business to business, which is, I took that for what you mean about circulating dollars, that businesses have to work with other businesses to keep themselves afloat, to try to figure out where the numbers are, where they make their numbers, where they make their dollars, and how to stimulate, manipulate, and encourage making more of those dollars. And bottom line is, I talked to two guys from the Port of Philadelphia. I asked them, what are the 3 things that they worry about at the Port of Philadelphia? You know what they told me?
What's that?
They told me, we worry about maintaining our business and growing our business. I said, what was the 3rd thing? They said, there is no 3rd thing. Those 2 things are our dashboard every day we get up and every day we go to bed.
You know, that speaks towards itself. It speaks volumes because, you know, today, when you're in business, you know, everybody's scratching their head and saying, well, where are the customers at? Where are the consumers? And it's imperative that we keep a mindset that dollars are tight, but people will spend for value. They will spend for value. If I walk into McDonald's and I got $5, hey, I can order the world. I can have a universe of food in front of me in a matter of minutes.
Or a date.
Or there you go.
Take care of a date.
Exactly. But if I walk into another restaurant with $5, they're going to say, well, if I say, what do you got for $5? This is nothing. And you know, your dollar cannot be spent here because you do not have enough. But it's the value of what you're spending for. So whether it's a home, whether it's a car, whether it's a dinner, whether it's clothing, whatever it is, today's consumer is looking for the value. How far will my dollars go with this particular business?
But one of the things I was talking about, I stop in a cigar shop before I come in here a lot, and I pick the brains of older black businessmen. Some are retired, some are still making very, very comfortable livings. One of the things we talked about was, how do we, as African Americans, deal with the millennial generation that actually doesn't seem to be getting it, and things are going to be handed over to them, but then we've got the baby boomers who are taking care of their parents or either their grandchildren, and the conversation just boiled down to simply this. I don't try to make things overcomplicated. You cannot take care of your house and take care of somebody else's house at the same time. So one of the things you need to focus on is, what are your priorities, taking care of your house, and telling others that they have to go find bootstraps. They have to go pick themselves up. And one of the things we got into a conversation was what is going to be the answer? You know what my response was to him? I don't have the answer, but if we don't come up with some, then we need to lay down where we are and just die. But then I thought about it a little longer, and 2 things came to mind. One of them is, we need to start doing leadership training. We need to start training people to be business owners, training people to be politicians, training people to be leaders. And then secondly, we need to deal with financial literacy. In other words, we need to tell or teach children, teenagers, young adults, senior citizens, business owners, everybody in every walk of life. We need to get them to understand we live in a capitalist society, and we need to understand that money is a tool, and we need to learn, just like you go buy those hammers or go buy those perms or whatever, that you need to learn how to maximize this tool to your advantage, whether you're a business owner, a consumer, or just a guy trying to get your hustle on.
You know, I'm a firm believer in financial literacy. You know, when I was a kid in school, Thursday was banking day. And I'll never forget, it was Roosevelt Savings Bank. This is in Brooklyn, New York. Roosevelt Savings Bank, you bought your quarter, your dollar, or whatever it was, and that was banking day, and there was a representative there who came and opened up a savings account for 3rd and 4th and 5th graders in public school. And I don't see any more responsibility with financial literacy now going on to that extent. And what you have right now is that You've got, well, some of the bigger banks, have been not too great. They've been pretty bad lately with regards to in proprietaries with opening up accounts and finagling or what have you. But again, the basic core is that we need to recognize some of the smaller banks that are in our communities. Okay?
Yeah.
Unity Bank. Okay? Unity Bank is a community bank. When you look at banks like
Is Wood Forest one?
Wood Forest, yes, most definitely. Wood Forest Bank, most definitely. They have a sense of community that the larger banks don't really care.
And there is a drive and a movement, if you go onto social media, that black banks are in vogue now. I don't know if they made a comeback, if they're coming back, but they're trying to get people that look like you or I to go into black banks, and hopefully these black banks will be responsive, because I have a fundamental belief. As a young lady I used to date once told me, she said, if you don't have any money in the bank, you are not relevant.
Exactly. And it speaks towards being relevant. It speaks towards having self-respect and self-esteem that you do have money in the bank. And when you go to apply for a business loan, or you go to apply to buy a car or some other big ticket item, you have money in the bank. You have skin in the game. You've been working and putting your money away.
Yeah.
And some of the things that I see people buying, and I'm not painting with a broad stroke right here, but again, do you really need another tattoo? Really, do you really need another pack of hair and purchasing from somebody who's not going to put money back in your community, but you're making his pockets deeper?
One of the things this gentleman did remind me at the cigar shop was that he said, we try to open up businesses, we try to facilitate commerce, and it never happens. But individuals who are immigrants or individuals who don't look like us will come in and open up stores, businesses, and here's the thing, they don't live in the community. They live in the suburbs, who drive into, let's just call it the hood or our communities. They operate their businesses. They have their total rules and law. And then at the end of the day, they close the business down, get in a little minivan, and drive all the way back to the suburbs with our money in their pockets.
Absolutely. So whether it's chicken wings and French fries, or whether it's packets of hair, whether it's tattoos, these folks do not invest in the communities in which they do business in.
But all that stuff that you mentioned, I'm trying to figure out, what benefit does that have in increasing, one, your financial standing, two, your place in the community? Because right now, black folks, one of the things we always have is our name. And you don't disparage the family name. But here's the thing, once you have that family name, you go and do something with it. You go into the community and you do and lead by example. But one of the things is you can do well and good at the same time. That's an old saying we have down here.
My biggest fear is that the younger generations see the spending habits and tendencies of older siblings, parents included, aunts and uncles, and grandparents. They see the spending tendencies and they grow in